Welcome to the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, where we explore the unexplained and mysterious phenomena that have occurred throughout the state of Michigan and beyond.
From UFO sightings to ghostly encounters, we delve deep into the stories, the evidence, and the theories behind these strange events.
We are your hosts. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Wayne.
We are an educator duo that after an encounter with a triangular UFO in 2018 in Michigan, we decided to investigate UFOs and the paranormal. In this podcast, we will be speaking with eyewitnesses, experts, and researchers to uncover the truth about some of the most intriguing cases of paranormal activity in and around Michigan.
Our goal is not to convince anyone of the existence of these phenomena, but rather to provide a platform for discussion and exploration. So, buckle up and join us on this journey down the paranormal rabbit hole.
On an escalator.
Hey, fellas! You want to know what time I woke up this morning?
What time?
Around 6-7!
6-7!
Ladies, did you guys do your homework last night? I tried to, but I got stuck on problem 6 and 7! 6-7!
How's your diabetes, man?
My diabetes?
Yeah, what's your A1C at?
6 point something!
6-7!
Hey, fellas! Time I woke up this morning?
What time?
6-7. There you go. That's all school is about nowadays is 6-7. So how's everybody doing? It is October 19th at 11:30 in the morning on Sunday. And I am coming to you live from the shadow of the great Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. And today we're just going to do a quick show, talk about some UAP, UFO news that's been going on, making the rounds. Thought we'd just talk about it for a minute and then get out of here. So I know a lot of people are not expecting this early show, but it is what it is. And wanted to give you guys something to think about while we were going to be off later tonight. So one of the first things that I wanted to discuss with you guys and bring up is that we're getting very close to this new movie documentary about UFOs that are coming out. And that is called The Age of Disclosure. Now, I did some digging and stuff and found out that it is actually going to be released on November 21st, 2025. But one of the first things I noticed was in the trailer that they have Marco Rubio talking about things, and he says something very interesting. I'm going to play the beginning of the trailer and see what you guys think, what he says. Now, this is the Secretary of State currently, okay? And I'm going to share this with you guys. You can listen. This is this episode. Where is it? I'm sorry. It always takes a minute. And I see there's some people in chat. Hello, Willow. How are you? Happy Sunday morning. Just going through a few things before we close it out for today. Is this it? This is it. Okay, so this is from Lad Bible, and this is senior U.S. government official confirms existence of UFOs in shock new documentary. Woo-wee, here we go. I'm sure this is going to cause a lot of uproar. A senior U.S. government official has confirmed the existence of UFOs in a new trailer, with a former official confirming the existence. The revelation comes from a teaser for an upcoming Prime Video documentary, The Age of Disclosure, disclosure, which will focus on the belief that the existence of alien life has been covered up by the government for decades. Well, let's see. Let's just go ahead and play this for you guys.
We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours.
These are other.
Okay, there it was. That's all I want to play because I don't want to get like a copyright strike or whatever. But let's hear that one more time. This is what they're talking about in this article.
We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours.
Once again, something like operating in the area of nuclear power plants. So let's go on and take a quick look at all of this stuff here. It says the Secretary of State does not exactly suggest that these flying objects are silver saucers with green aliens hanging out of the top, but in the trailer does specify his stance on the investigations. He says in the trailer, we've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours. Now, we live very close to a nuclear power plant here in Michigan. It is Fermi 2, and it is along Lake Erie near a place called Detroit Beach. And we've had people contact us quite a few times talking about seeing orbs and things flying around the cooling towers of the power plant. So there's one thing I do know about nuclear power plants and orbs and things like that flying around them. The maintenance people, some I've talked to and had emails from, use drones to do outside inspections of some of the cooling towers. So, it's one of those things. Is it that or is it something else? I guess it would depend on how often you see it. And maybe that was misinformation from somebody out in the public. You don't know. And that goes for either way. So this new documentary looks like it's going to be, and it's being chalked up as being very controversial. It's going to be one of the biggest ones here in a little bit. The documentary is billed as exposing an 80-year global cover-up of non-human intelligence and advanced craft technology. So, and then you look at Rubio, and his remarks, are going to ignite all kinds of debate about high-level government military awareness of UAPs and specifically their appearance near sensitive American installations. We know this. We know this is going to happen. And it's going to throw people into a tizzy and then look at, is he lying? Is this part of the government cover up? Is it a psyop? That's the fun one. So, but it does raise some very interesting and some high stakes concerns: national security, unknown entities near weapons sites, secrecy, and you can go all the way back to the drones that were happening in New Jersey. Now, some people say that those were not drones and they will swear to it. I don't know. I didn't get a good look at any of them. And the person that I know who's out there, Gemma Jade, she doesn't go out very much because of her issues of dealing with things from the paranormal side of things. So I just wonder, I'm going to throw this out to you guys and you can put in comments later when we're done with the live. What do you think restricted nuclear facilities really mean? Is he talking about reactors? Is he talking about missile silos, command centers? Because in the trailer there, he doesn't mention much of anything other than They're not ours, and they're over these restricted sites. So what is he talking about? I know for a fact that there have been things that have gone over the nuclear power plant very close to us. So, and then, you're talking about a prominent politician who's making strong claims. Is it adding legitimacy to the whole UFO topic? Or is it just adding more drama? You can take that route to it. What do you guys think on that? All right. And let's see, what else did I want to talk about as I check my notes? Yeah, so what are the possibilities, okay, that these objects are actually drones or some type of spy drone or craft or some other foreign actor that wants to get information about our sites, whether it is missile silos or nuclear power plants or things like that. So anyways, it's creating a good buzz with the documentary folks, right? You got all kinds of buzz, public interest, government transparency. The last UAP hearing was all about new whistleblowers and witnesses that have come forward, but there was a lot of talking about things going back to this documentary, which has not been released to the public yet, but people in Gillibrand's group and in Anna Paulina Luna's group have seen this. So, which is very interesting that the politicians get to look at that before we do. So, all right, let's go on to our next article, which kind of relates to something we showed a couple weeks ago, and that was Congressman Tim Burchett. Let me go ahead and bring up, where is his information? Oh, okay. That's right. I can't bring up the website with the news article on it, so I'm just going to go through my notes with you guys. So, hey, Intergalactic Wrangler. Hello, Jay Groove. Welcome. Let's see who else is here. Willow is here. Good to see you yet again. I will see you tomorrow in class, bright and early. It's a student, so we'll leave it at that. But let's talk about this underwater bases and extraterrestrial craft off the U.S. coast. Now, there have been tons of reports. Everybody already knows this stuff. There's been tons of reports, but Representative Tim Burchett, he has reportedly claimed that there may be 5 or 6 underwater bases off the U.S. coast where extraterrestrial beings may reside. And that's coming from the Economic Times. Now, again, I can't show that one. It causes the browsers to lock up, and I don't know what they're putting out there for their ads on their website. So I'll just go over my notes here. In his discussion with UFO researcher Red Panda Koala, I don't know what that's all about. He said naval personnel have cited high-speed underwater crafts far exceeding conventional submarines. That is true, and that also comes from Rear Admiral Gallaudet, I think is his name. And yeah, Gallaudet. And he has reported some of the same things. Now, he is a Rear Admiral, and he worked with NOAA, the North Atlantic. Is it the Northern Atlantic, Oceanic, and Atmospheric? I think that's the, let me get that straight, because now it's early Sunday morning, folks. So NOAA, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Yeah, that's it. So I don't want to sound like a complete lunatic. All right. So yeah, so Admiral Gallaudet has been going around, and he was actually one of the witnesses at the previous, not the latest one, but the one right before that, the UAP hearing. And they are reporting things underwater going extremely fast, faster than torpedoes, faster than anything we may have. So the suggestion is that UFOs, UAPs aren't just aerial, they're also underwater. And we've heard about this many times before in the past. You know, they're transmedium, that our oceans hold anomaly zones, probably places we haven't mapped yet. The ocean is not very good. Hey, Rick Davis. Yes, we are early because we're not going to be on later tonight. We have an engagement that we have to be at tonight. So I'm just throwing together a quick news little show and talking to y'all for a minute. So the secret foreign or non-human operations could be in place. So that's where Burchett is coming from when he was making his suggestions the other, what was that, about 2 weeks ago now, that he got in a high-speed foot chase with a reporter, and he says that he, you know, there might be underground bases. So it's very interesting because UAPs, if we shift the idea of UFOs to UAPs because they can go underwater, then it makes UAP, the term, be more acceptable, right? And considering the government was the ones that were pushing the whole UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomenon, so it can apply to other things, not just unidentified flying object, right? That seems to tell me that they might know a lot more than what they've led on to. Of course they do, but I don't think they know much. So, you know, you start thinking about this whole imagery of underwater bases. It sounds very sci-fi, right? It gives you that sci-fi vibe and imagery. You know, you have the whole deep sea mystery. It's always been something. It raises questions about evidence gathering. How are we going to gather evidence from deep in the ocean that's very difficult for us to even reach? And again, here we are having a congressperson weighing in, right? They've got political weight behind them, and he's weighing in as part of this UFO thing. He will tell you he believes 100% there's something going on. What is that? Who knows? So let's see. I did jot some things down here real quick about evidence. So are there declassified reports about UAPs that are underwater? What is publicly known? So we need to figure that out. We need to start digging into some of that stuff. Could these be secret advanced submersibles, foreign tech, undersea drones, natural phenomenon? If you've seen some of the battleships and things out there as of late, and they look like almost like some kind of a weird stealth fighter bomber type craft on the water, it very well could be some kind of secret tech that's being worked on. You know, they're always trying to get rid of the issues of friction against aircraft and, you know, seagoing vessels and submarines and stuff to make them easier to cut through the water, because then it takes less energy to get them to move faster, right? So then you also have this challenge of investigating underwater anomalies. So you got visibility issues. Once you go down 700-800 feet, sunlight's not making it very much further. So you're not going to see anything with the naked eye. You have sensor limitations. Sonar is kind of the best thing we have right now for that kind of stuff. And then the geography of the ocean floor is absolutely, depending on where you're at, can be an absolute hazard. So there's lots of things that could be in play just with that alone. And then what do you guys think about credibility? You know, when a politician states such claims, what documentation backs it? So is there risk of sensationalizing? I know it's early. I need more coffee. So sensationalizing the claim without verification. That's the problem. And I know, me personally, I don't usually trust a politician if their lips are moving. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. Let's see, what do we got going on? Hey, Rick Davis. And then we've got Intergalactic Wrangler. Let's see. Let me pull up your comment here. This looks interesting. Says, I seen a weird blank fish once. It was transparent. You could see its insides and also see through it. You know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. You can get those for your fish tank. But they're very weird. I'm going to pull up a picture of it because I know what you're talking about. Let me pull up images here. It's called an oarfish. Oh, wait a minute. That one's not transparent. There's a transparent fish that's like the oarfish. Let me share this with you. These things are crazy looking. They wash up. People think they're some type of cryptid. How big that one was. There's probably about 30 guys holding it up. Right? There you go. There's a good image. The longest fish you'll probably never see. It's called the oarfish. But there is one that's like that, that's transparent. Like you can see through it. It comes from deep in the ocean. And I cannot remember the name of it. It is scary looking. Willow, it is very scary looking. But they're pretty harmless, and they usually wash up when they have passed away and they have moved on to the other fish side or the other side of the aquarium. So let's see here. I want to see if I can find the one that's transparent. It might be transparent in the water. No. Okay, well, there's this. Okay. Yeah. Check this out. Right here. Hopefully it doesn't take me to a crazy site. It does take me to a crazy site. But here you go. Right there. Video reveals bizarre deep sea oarfish. So I guess there's a deep sea version of them that's more translucent. So very interesting. But yeah, there's all kinds of fish like that. And that's why the ocean is so mysterious and people are very interested in it. And who was it? H.P. Lovecraft did a lot of writing, his whole mythology of, Cthulhu and all of that good stuff. Yeah, that was all based on things washing up in the ocean that we had no idea about. Somebody says, I like this. This was in a big lake. Oh, it's okay. It's possible. All right. There's one other quick little news article I wanted to cover with you guys. And this one might gather some attention. And it kind of puts the spotlight on people like Michelle and I who are just trying to report the issues that we see and what we've been privy to versus our experiences versus other people. And this article I can actually show you guys. So this article is called Who Profits from UFO UAP Hype Inside the Attention Economy That Drives Alien Fever. Now, let me tell everybody right now, at least from the UFO and paranormal show standpoint like ours, there is no economy that drives this. It's our own money that drives this. There's no money in being a very specific niche show like ours, unless maybe you get really huge. There are some podcasting shows out there that are very, very big when it comes to this stuff. We're not one of them. No matter what Google says, we're not one of them. But it says here, I just want to give you guys like the highlights of this article. So it's an article about who profits from UFO UAP hype. So, and it's about the attention economy, and it examines how the UFO UAP ecosystem, from YouTube videos to podcasts to documentaries, is commercially driven. I disagree. It also highlights how imagery, sensational headlines, influencer channels, and even alleged leaks feed into a market where views, clicks, and subscriptions matter. Well, subscriptions don't matter much. Clicks, maybe. It's more about how many views have you got now. So that's kind of they're kind of wrong in that aspect. So let's see. What can we talk about here? So how UFO UAP content is monetized. YouTube ad revenue, exclusive documentaries, Patreon memberships, appearances, merch. So what this article is basically saying is that the reason the UFO hype is getting as much hype as it is because of channels like ours that are quote unquote monetized. And yeah, we make enough money to cover our StreamYard every month. You don't see us going on huge vacations or anything like that because of this show. As a matter of fact, if you were to divide up our time and the amount of money we put into this show, we are so far in the negative, it's not even funny. But all right, you know what? I want to go through this. I want to see how many people this might actually make angry. It says a concave of comments, though, may not be the worst thing, as when a UFO sighting gains online traction, it moves to the top of social media and gets more attention. Devoted outlets like MUFON, exclusive to UFOs, the War Zone, primarily for military and defense, and the Galileo Project, scientific research, back up the cause with content. And as for the share, the focus needn't be on whether they believe you or not, but how to capitalize on their content, like other influencers and social media figures. We sounded out Barna Donovan, which is okay. He's a professor, or she is a professor of communications and media culture at St. Peter's University in New Jersey, to get his 2 cents on the topic. Firstly, like any other market, the algorithm feeds the hunger, as Donovan points out. The idea is to produce as much content as possible to feed the attention market. I like this picture right here. People are asleep, except for this woman down here who looks like the former Queen of England. I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be. But then Donovan sees a conundrum. Along with the appetite for stories of possible alien contact comes a wariness over online hoaxes and misinformation, he said. That is true. There's people out there faking stuff all the time. And guess what? There's always been people out there faking stuff all the time. Hey, Straw Dog, good to see you. It says, for the mainstream news consumer, UFO stories remain a weird niche and would have to be aired on prime time by the big players to warrant their attention. For more vertical discussions into sightings, cover-ups, and whistleblower accounts, there's a whole treasure trove of content available. The Y-Files, for example. Now, this dude was recently on, like, Joe Rogan talking about his show, and other big podcasters. So he's a content creator who is going on other content creators to talk about creating content. So I think this is what this professor is kind of alluding to. The Y-Files, for example, with over 5 million subscribers. Now that's the subscribers. That's not how many views he gets. He probably gets a lot more than that. Follows its own unique trajectory to grant license to the viewer to make their own mind up. The usual format of each show begins with an overview of an alleged paranormal phenomenon, but then midway through the show, Gentile adds his signature line, "But is any of this true?" Donovan explains. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. It says, when whistleblowers themselves feel a sense of disclosure fatigue. Oh, man, here we go. And Michelle's over here working next to me, and we were just talking about fatigue. Now we have disclosure fatigue. I was going to say I have UFO fatigue, but, it can be down to channels like The Y-Files or Jeremy Corbell's Weaponized podcast. These podcasts have featured prominent whistleblowers like David Grush and Matthew Brown, whose Immaculate Constellation document revealed the Pentagon's secret UFO program. Of course. See, now, I think what he's trying to say is that with all the little content creators and stuff like what we do and what other people do, we're getting a lot of people out there that are interested in this and they want to talk about it. So they go and create content, right? There is no more market square for people to go stand around and talk. It's called the internet now. So, and you might be able to make a few cents, right? By putting out a video here and there. Let's see, what else do they say? Audience members who are rewarded are those who exhibit a kind of interactive skepticism and do not get too bogged down in a tangent on Reddit threads. Oh man, stay away from Reddit. That's a cesspool. For Donovan, UFO coverage now blurs genres. Journalists doing stories about claims of alien contact will, up to a point, be entertainers or perhaps infotainers, aware of the popularity of UFO stories. Yeah, UFO stories are just so popular. Hey, Lance, good to see you on this early morning on Sunday. So let's see. After all, they might be writing for a true crime audience who appreciates their stories a bit noir. Dun, 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 dun. On the Proof is Out There, for example, UFOs are a cornerstone topic alongside other paranormal ones. Popular episodes include jellyfish UFO sightings and spaceships almost colliding with planets at airports or planes at airports. The show has also pointed out hoaxes too, by using scientists and special effects experts. Yeah, the proof is out there. That show's not all that great. Sorry to say. The strategy seems to be to straddle science-heavy explainers and mystical ingredients so curiosity can be satisfied, especially when those in office aren't giving the game away. Call it half inquiry, half showmanship. Yeah, okay. Let's see what they end here with. Let's see, what is this? Okay. Credibility can be lost and trust bottoms out with the circulation of fake content, as was the case in 2023 with Reddit's beloved UFO subreddit. VFX, visual FX artist created two elaborate videos, later named the Reddit UFO and Tesla UFO, with the latter so meticulous that it had many fooled. Still, the belief economy endures, and witness recognition seems poised for a bigger breakout. The truth about aliens is still out there, Donovan says, and the work of fraudsters or sloppy journalists won't deter true believers. Most often, it isn't what you say, but how you say it. What do you guys think about this stuff? Is most of the people out there like what Michelle and I are doing? Are we some type of slop journalism, like slop tubers that are going on with all of the drama and stuff on like Twitch and things like that? Or are we trying to get out there and figure out what is going on? I mean, this stuff is Yeah, or all the above. Or the above, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. So let's see, what other notes did I put down about this? All right, so yeah, so okay. So one of the questions, all right, I want to pose to you guys is, why are there hundreds? Now they say hundreds, right? But hundreds of new UFO channels popping up because there's an audience and money, or is there actually something really going on? Are people paying more attention and they want to talk about it? What do you guys think on that? The attention economy. You think this attention economy, and we're in it for the clicks and all that stuff, is fueling the UFO coverage? You think that's what's going on? Interested in your comments in that. Make sure you put them down below once the live show here is done. Does this hype help or hurt the search for the truth? And I see you guys in chat talking it up. Make sure you put something in the comments too. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think, what kind of little debate we can get sparked in the comments. And then, can we stay curious and critical? That's the big thing, right? Can we stay curious and critical? Well, for me, I can't help but to be critical. I'm not just an open believer, but I know what Michelle and I had experienced. And let me tell you, it wasn't a lot of fun. All right. So anyways, speaking of curiosity and being critical, next week there will not be a show because Michelle and I will be looking at alleged UFO materials. We're going to go visit Benny Fogan and his family, and we're going to go check out the UFO materials that will, I believe, be part of the documentary that's coming out. Or there's another documentary that will be coming out on metamaterials from MUFON. I think it'll be kind of competing with the Disclosure documentary that's coming out in November. So once I found out more about that, I'll let you guys know. And maybe we'll get that director on here and stuff. But yeah, so we're going to head down there and we're going to go and check out the metamaterial that Benny claims and his wife claims they saw it fall out off of a UFO that was by their house. And this slag type material landed in their driveway. They were able to collect it. It was still warm to the touch. And it had some type of a red material on it that when they started to have people analyze that material, the company known as, what was it, Michelle? In Ohio. I just had it in my head. Anyways, the first company that took the material and analyzed it, they stripped off the quote unquote red material. And that was the material that if you put water on it, it turned invisible. It was like cloaking. Battelle was the company. And I think they were in Ohio, or still in Ohio. They're an aerospace company. So they took as much as they could off of that. They couldn't get it all. So we're going to go and investigate this material and see what happens when Michelle comes in contact with it, because it's supposed to have very interesting effects with people that are remote viewers or kind of psychic. Yeah, we're going to let the wife hold it. So, but it's also the material that has been cored out recently and then cut into pieces and handed out to Anna Paulina Luna, Gillibrand. I think Burchett might have a piece of it. So a lot of the people on the UAP committee has pieces of Benny's material. And then what's left, we are going to go and see it and spend a day with them down there and see if we can see any of the Bigfoot type alien creatures, if any of the ships come by, It's going to be very interesting. So we'll have some stories for you guys in the episode that happens probably after that. But speaking of episodes after that, we have coming up on November, let me make sure I have the date right. November 2nd. Yes. Our first show in November, we're having on Daryl Sims, former CIA and host of many alien and UFO shows all across the cable network areas, History Channel, all that. He's also known as the Alien Hunter. He goes around and collects implants and people's stories and metamaterials that he has. So he's going to be on November 2nd, Sunday, November 2nd at 8 p.m. And we're going to have a great conversation with him. And I was connected with him because of Benny. Benny and his material was on their very first episode of Uncovering Aliens that they did a while back. So I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that. If you're not, you can go get caught up on that stuff. But anyways, we're going to have Daryl Sims on. And then real interesting phone call I got yesterday from one Randall Carlson. That's right. The Randall Carlson. And we talked for a little bit, and he's going on a trip, but it looks like early December, we're going to be able to get him back on the show. And we're going to talk about his ideas of UFOs and what's going on, his take on all of this stuff from an ancient civilization and ancient technology perspective. So he has never talked anywhere about his ideas on UFOs, and he's going to put it out there with us. So that'll be in December. And once we get that date nailed down, I will definitely put it out there and let you guys know. Okay. All right, everybody. It looks like we've been going about 42 minutes and we have plans and stuff. So thank you for stopping by. If you stop by during the live, if not, you catch us later. I know these news articles and stuff are starting to make their rounds and causing quite the hubbub about, I honestly, if you want my opinion, especially about the last article about the attention economy, I think it's the mainstream media's last ditch effort and their death throes of trying to get people like us, discredit us and discredit other creators out there because they want to control the narrative. And I think that's, what we're seeing here. I don't even know how many people watch CNN anymore. A lot of people just get their news from the internet and stuff. So, all right. With that being said, everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. If you want to support the show, you can do so. The links are down in the show description. Just hit up the links if you want to send us a super chat, join Patreon, whatever. It doesn't matter. Help us out. You can go to our merchandise store, buy some products. We got some pretty cool shirts and hoodies, and it's hoodie weather time out there for everybody. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. All right. So everybody, we'll see you later. And remember, keep those eyes to that sky. Man, I need more coffee.